Welcome back. My name is Michael and I'm going to explain exactly how many calories you should be eating if you want to see the best and longest lasting fat loss results right now. Whether you've tried to eat a little cleaner by swearing off your favorite treats or you promised yourself that you would actually get up and use your gym membership, you've probably tried to lose weight or burn fat one way or another at some point in your life. Or maybe you're already pretty active and eat pretty clean, but for some dang reason, you just can't seem to burn off all the fat. Maybe you've done the traditional 500 calorie deficit or even a crash diet with an extreme 1,000 calorie deficit, but still never saw the results you wanted, or at least never lasted long enough to see those results. Odds are, you don't have inferior genetics and you don't have a slow metabolism. You're just doing it wrong, which is why I designed this video to show you precisely what you need to do to finally burn off all the fat and actually enjoy the process. And if you're new to calories and calorie deficits, it's time to start taking a closer look. Trying to lose weight without having an understanding of your calories is like trying to drive a dang car blindfolded.
I feel like the car could drive itself.
You will crash and burn. So take off the blindfold and I encourage you to use this video as your roadmap. The first thing you need to do is find your calorie maintenance level. This is how many calories you burn in a typical day and is based on your age, weight, and activity level. Another name for this is total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. You can use the calculator in the description, and I suggest being honest with yourself in the activity section. Unless you are kicking your ass in the gym on pretty much a daily basis, you will probably fall in the light exercise to moderate exercise brackets. It's okay if you don't know your body fat percentage for this. These are estimates anyways and should be used as a starting point. More on that in a moment. Now, the good stuff. Most people will tell you to eat at a 500 calorie deficit when you want to lose weight or burn fat. And it's not terrible advice, but I suggest starting off a little differently and opt for a small 200 to 250 calorie deficit instead. Increase that calorie deficit every 2 to 4 weeks by lowering it by about 100 to 150 calories. So if you've been eating at a 200 to 250 calorie deficit for the first couple weeks, you will now start eating at a 300 to 350 calorie deficit. Keep this trend going and every couple weeks or so increase your calorie deficit. As a quick example, let's say my calorie maintenance is 2,500 calories per day. I would start my fat loss journey by eating at about 2,300 calories per day. After a couple weeks or so, I would then increase that deficit by about 100 calories and start eating around 2,200 calories per day, and continue to lower my calories every couple weeks or based on progress. The problem with starting off with a larger 500 calorie deficit is the sustainability factor. Depending on your activity level, a 500 calorie deficit could leave you with a daily calorie goal of just 1,800 calories or less per day. That's not a lot of food for most people and difficult to keep up for the months it's gonna take to see the results you want. Yes, months, so be ready for that. How long exactly will depend on how much weight you're trying to lose. And speaking of time, over the course of your fat loss journey, your body will start to get used to your calorie deficit, which means you'd have to do one of two things, either up the cardio or increase the calorie deficit and eat less food. So if you started at that 500 calorie deficit and you're already feeling deprived, then increasing that deficit is just going to make things even harder. It just doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to feel deprived the whole time. Now, another reason it's a good idea to keep your calories as high as possible for as long as possible is for its effects on lean muscle mass retention. When you're losing weight, you're also losing muscle mass, and we want to minimize that as much as possible. Having more muscle means burning more calories throughout the day. Ladies, I'm talking to you too. We all want that toned look, and it's the muscle that gets revealed underneath the fat that makes that happen. Now, how do you know exactly when to lower your calories? Well, you can just lower them every 2 weeks like I mentioned, but if you really want to see the best results, I recommend paying a little closer attention to your weekly progress. Remember when I said those calorie maintenance calculators are just estimates? They are. There's no practical way to really know exactly how many calories you burn in a day. You also burn slightly different amounts from one day to the next. But what you can do is look at how much weight you're losing per week. A steady and healthy rate of fat loss is about 1 to 2 pounds a week tops. You might see a little more than that drop off the scale in the first week or so due to water weight being lost, but plan for it to even out at about 1 pound of weight loss per week. Now, if you see that your weight loss is starting to slow down too much, say anything less than a pound per week, that's a good time to increase the deficit slightly by about 100 calories. Here are a couple things to keep in mind when you go about this slow and steady approach. Do not go over 1,000 calorie deficit and avoid your calories getting that low for as long as you can. Once your calories start to get that low, the diet becomes harder and harder to sustain. You start getting hungrier, your energy levels start to fall, life just gets a little tougher. But if you kept your calories as high as possible for as long as possible, then you should only have to maintain a large calorie deficit for about 4 weeks tops, instead of trying to sustain it for an entire 4 months. Now, if you've been in a large calorie deficit for weeks and still feel like you have more fat to lose, consider taking a short diet break where you eat at your calorie maintenance level for about a week or two. This is not a food free-for-all where you undo your months of hard work in 2 weeks. This is just a time to reset the system and give your mind and your body a little break. And a quick note on cardio. You can take the same approach with your cardio as you do with your calories. Start off with little cardio in the beginning of your transformation journey and increase it as the weeks and months go by based on progress. Maybe instead of dropping your calories 1 week, you add a day of cardio, or simply make each cardio session a little longer in duration. It doesn't matter what kind of cardio you do. There is no cardio that is best for fat loss. The best cardio for fat loss is the one that you enjoy doing. And feel free to change it up if you get bored. If you're reluctant to track calories in the first place, understand that it's not something you have to do forever. Just get good at it for the short time it takes for you to hit your goal weight. Then just maintain. It's a lot easier to maintain your weight once you get there. Guys, it really is as simple as what I just laid out. If you've struggled with fat loss in the past, do yourself a favor and try out this method. As someone who has tried every diet approach on the face of this friggin' earth, I can tell you that this is the most enjoyable way to burn the fat and will also allow you to keep it off in the long run, because you won't be yo-yo dieting anymore. You're done with that. Thanks for watching. I hope you're able to gain something from this video. I appreciate every single one of you that has already subscribed to my channel. And if you haven't, but like to have fun learning about fat loss, fitness, and food, then consider doing so. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.